penultimate episode of The Boys didn't just break our hearts with Frenchie's death. It quietly showed us exactly how Homelander will finally fall. And it even teased a brand new spin-off the show hasn't even announced yet. So stick around because I'm going to break down Homelander's ending, how it will happen, and what this unannounced spin-off will be. Let's get into it. For most of the season, everyone thought the only way to stop Homelander was to become him through death and destruction, releasing a virus that will kill half the soups on the planet in the most horrific way possible. Even Kimiko and Starlight were ready to die for it. And that was the plan right until Soldier Boy hands over V1. Not so smart are we now, Sage? Homelander became immune. The kill plan collapsed. They have to rethink it quickly, but along the way, the characters start remembering who they actually are, and we'll get into that shortly. First, we have to look at one of the key themes the show has been pushing, and that is that death isn't the worst thing that can happen. We see this with A-Train when he came to the realization that following Homelander was worse than being killed by him, making his death a complete gut punch. Yes, the full circle moment was a bit on the nose. He starts the series running to keep up, to stay in for, killing Robin along the way. Just before he met his end, he was running from Homelander, and the only reason Homelander was able to catch him was because he slowed down to get out of the way of an innocent bystander. He died free, laughing at how pathetic and small Homelander really was. And if we compare that to Firecracker's death, who sold her soul, sacrificed everything for Homelander, and it wasn't enough. Her death was meaningless. It was completely predictable, and that was the point. We see it again with Nor's death, the president's death, all meaningless. No closure, no purpose. And then there are those characters whose situations are worse than death. Ashley, terrified, trapped by choices she can't take back, literally scared of her own conscience. Her actions got the president killed right in front of her, and she knows deep down that she's next. The Deep followed every order, and Homelander still casts him aside. He can't go to the sea, he's ostracized from the only beings he's ever cared about. He's no longer part of the Seven, and the Seven doesn't even exist anymore. Homelander doesn't even want him in the same room. It's his personal hell. He is living the exact nightmare that Firecracker feared. But at least he's alive, right? But what do you guys think? Will he stay like this, or does he die in the next episode? And then there's Soldier Boy. I know people are questioning why he gave Homelander the V1, but here's my view. Soldier Boy hates immortality. Taking bomb sites immortality wasn't cruelty, it was an act of mercy. And giving that curse to Homelander, that wasn't love, that wasn't forgiveness, that was punishment. He still can't stand Homelander. He knows living forever is a curse. Bombsight knew it, Goldie knew it, Starlight and Kimiko knew it. Because there are worse things than death, and no one understood that better than Frenchie. Standing in front of Homelander, knowing and accepting he's about to die, just to give Kimiko a fighting chance. Yet he still pities Homelander with the words,
"I bet you never danced a day in your life."
Frenchie died for love. Homelander has never felt it. It echoes Huey's response when Homelander asks why people keep going out of their way to save him. And Huey responds,
"Because I do it for them."
Homelander will never understand that. So now you know where I'm going with this. They're not going to kill Homelander, they're going to strip his powers, and they're going to force him to live. Yes, he could be kept on ice like Soldier Boy, but I think they'll keep him conscious. Depowered, aging, watching the world move on without him. He becomes forgotten. Homelander is the ultimate narcissist, and in the Greek myth, narcissists die staring at his own reflection. Maybe Homelander will have to do the same. The Boys has been explicit about the impact of hate, anger, resentment, and polarization. We see it literally with Quinn becoming a toxic plant, spreading hate, making everyone kill each other. Butcher succumbing to Kessler. Thoughts America tearing itself apart. People turning on each other to save their own skin. And even the Boys were so distracted by taking down Homelander no matter the cost, they forgot what they were fighting for. Starlight lost her power because she didn't know who she was anymore. She wasn't even sure what the point in fighting was. Side note, I'm thinking of doing a video on the inevitable downfall of Starlight, so let me know if you want to see that. Butcher, perhaps, maybe not unsurprisingly, was ready to commit genocide for the chance of taking down Homelander. Ryan went on a suicide mission alone. But the penultimate episode gave us, and our heroes, a key message. Homelander's downfall isn't hate, it's unity. And there are two people that are central to that, Emma and MM. You see, Homelander's regime is held together by fear and resentment, blind loyalty. So it's hardly surprising that it's tearing itself apart. So Homelander tries to command love by becoming a king. Sorry, I mean God, not king. Which is insane. I mean, who would try and compare themselves to a religious figure when most of their fan base are evangelicals? Well then, never mind. And as mentioned, the Boys have been more divided than usual, only working together for the sake of the mission. But this episode changed everything and brought them back. Huey and Butcher, a relationship that should have shattered. Butcher had to expose his most vulnerable thoughts to Huey, and Huey accepted it. Together they united to take down Synapse. I genuinely thought Butcher was past redemption, but now I'm questioning questioning myself, have I lost it? The voice of reason, who has been pretty lost since his time in the camps, remembered who he was, and we finally hear how he got his name. He stands there proud, and that triggers Starlight to remember who she is. And remembering that saving one person matters more than the mission. Are you listening, Butcher? You still got work to do, mate. And Starlight save the people who'll hate her, and that leads her back to Marie and Jordan because she needs their help. She's going to need everyone's help. And none of this happens without Emma. I made a video a while back saying that Emma is the key to Homelander's downfall, and I still stand by that. And not because she led them to the theatres, even though this turned out to be a very useful move, but because she was the glue of Gen V. And if you want to know more, then be sure to check that video out, because this final fight isn't just about physical powers, and if you thought it was, then we haven't been paying attention. It's about connection, where Homelander lives off hate, the boys survive by risking it all for each other. And united, Homelander doesn't stand a chance. Oh, but what about the V1, I hear you say? Well, let's talk Kimiko. Frenchie always called her Mon Coeur, which translates to my heart. And Kimiko, well, now in theory, she has Soldier Boy's power radiating from her heart. A bit on the nose? Maybe, but she will neutralise Homelander. She just needs everyone to help get her there. Will there be casualties along the way? Without a doubt. Now about that new spin-off, and no, I don't mean Vought Rising, and we know Gen V isn't returning for season 3, which I'm sad about, but it makes sense. They wouldn't be able to continue with these characters in the school without it feeling pretty tired. It might seem that the younger generation storyline is over, but it's not. This whole franchise has been about passing the torch. Maeve to Starlight.
I could jump. You can fucking fly.
Parents to children.
I've been thinking about my mom a lot lately.
Breaking generational trauma.
There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Moving from trauma to healing, and making us question how the next generation will handle inheriting a world on fire. So I think it's safe to say they're not saying goodbye to these characters, they're repositioning them. My prediction, Ashley becomes president, Stan Edgar returns as the new face of Vought, a new Seven, a new world order. But don't get it twisted, this isn't going to be a happy ending. It will feel fulfilling, and some of our characters will get a happy ending. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kimiko living in Marseille with a dog. But there will be a subtle warning underneath, such as showing Stormfront and Soldier Boy on ice in Vaught's basement. Because after all, Edgar is far from a hero. Vought is responsible for all of this. A new Vought with new heroes could just be a cycle repeating itself. Anyway, these are my predictions, but I want to hear yours. Homelander thinks you can order love, command it, dictate it. And the more he tries to force it, the more he slips away. And the boys, they're taunting him with the one thing that he'll never have.